Welcome to the TraqFreq tutorials. TraqFreq is a musical instrument activity tracker that monitors playing, climate, and supplies. In this tutorial, we'll focus on features related to climate. Let's get started. The climate area on the main dashboard shows the temperature and humidity readings as of the most recent time you synced with your TraqFreq. This is the climate index chart, which we'll discuss in much more detail later in the video. But in summary, a climate index is a number representing a score of various customizable climate-related rules. If the value is below 10, then your instrument is safe. If the value is greater than 10, then you'll start to get alerts. Pan the chart left and right to go back and forth in time. Tap anywhere in this area to go to the climate dashboard. Let's do that now. This is the climate dashboard. We'll come back to the climate index chart later. Let's first look at the timeline chart. Here, you can see the temperature and humidity over a 1-week period. Pan the charts to go back and forth in time. You can zoom in and out to get different perspectives and to see how the conditions vary daily, weekly, and monthly. There is also a cursor that allows you to view precise readings at any point on the chart. Tap on the chart to enable the cursor. Drag the cursor and observe the temperature and humidity values at any instant in time. Tap the chart again to release the cursor. You can also see your playing time at the top, which shows if there was any correlation between the observed climate conditions and when you played. For instance, by selecting the day zoom level, you can see that there was a change in climate conditions when the instrument was taken out of its case and as it was played. The calendar shows the largest climate index value for each day, where more serious climate conditions are highlighted in orange. The log tabulates the climate conditions at various resolutions. Here, each row is a summary of the climate conditions for one day. By opening the menu, you can choose to view the logs at an hourly resolution, and you can view the logs at a minute resolution. Now let's talk about the climate index. Typically, when you look at temperature and humidity charts, you try to make sense of the severity of the climate conditions affecting your instrument. For instance, you would consider whether there has been a large, sudden change in humidity or temperature, or whether the humidity or temperature is consistently too high or too low for too long, and possibly ignoring short dips into low or high conditions. Each time you look at the climate charts, you implicitly try to make sense of the data by thinking through this type of logic. The climate index scores a collection of rules to come up with one simple number to represent the severity of the climate conditions, based on current and previous climate conditions. You can set the various thresholds that govern these rules. For instance, let's set the thresholds for average humidity. Drag the handles to change the thresholds. The safe zone is the region of values that are safe for your instrument. Values at the boundaries of the safe zone represent when conditions could be dangerous for your instrument. At these boundaries, the index will be 10 and TraqFreq will start to raise alerts. The damage zone represents values that indicate a high probability of severe damage to your instrument. At these boundaries, the index will have reached a value of 20. The average thresholds govern rules that relate to when your instrument is exposed to certain conditions for long periods of time and won't alert you for temporary dips outside the safe zone. The change threshold determines when sudden changes in conditions could be harmful to your instrument. Humidity changes larger than this value in the last hour would be considered dangerous and can cause the index to reach a value of 10 and will start to raise alerts. When the humidity changes by more than this threshold in the last hour, damage is very likely to occur, and the index will be 20. Each instrument is different, so be sure to set these thresholds for your specific instrument and preferences. You can zoom out to see the climate index over longer periods of time. 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year. Use the cursor to get detailed values at specific points in time. Actually, there are multiple climate indexes, and you can view the impact each climate index has on the overall index. For instance, by selecting the humidity change index, you can see where and by how much a sudden change in humidity was the cause of a high overall index value. You can see that the average temperature did not always contribute that much to the overall index, and that changes in temperature were even less of a concern. But you can see that most of the time, the cause for a high overall index was the average humidity. That is, the instrument was consistently in a high humidity environment. Another way to cycle through the various climate index charts is to use the selector button on the right. Let's go back to the main dashboard. Now you can see the climate index chart on the main dashboard. The widgets above the chart indicate the conditions as of the most recent sync with your TraqFreq. If the last sync was older than a day, the values will be shown in gray. When the overall index reaches 10, it will cross through the dotted alert line, and TraqFreq will start to raise alerts. We'll discuss alerts and notifications in another tutorial video. Well, that's all for now. To learn more about TraqFreq, check out our other tutorials. Thanks for watching. TraqFreq. Track your tune.